Conant and really amazing today. I finally, after years, have the chance to work with fundraising coach, a storyteller, social network um, person who knows all this stuff, a person who named Andre Perez, who I I, I'm getting a chance to work with him on the fundraising campaign for The Golden Cage, which is my new musical. And today is a special training where you will get to learn what I'm learning and to come and join and be an ambassador for the Golden Cage. This is something completely new. I have never done anything like this. I'm really excited about it. I'm going to be opening up a fundraising campaign as we start to raise the final funds for this project. And I've never done anything like this exactly. And so I was like, oh, how do I do it? I was able to connect with Andre, and one of the first things that he talked about doing was putting together a team of ambassadors. And I'm just going to take a second here to make sure that I'm using the right audio and video connections here. Let me try this. Let me change this. Hear me even better now that I changed that. So anyway, I don't know if you know about my musical, The Golden Cage, but this is something that I've been working on for many, many years. And sometimes it felt like this would never happen. And I think that everyone has projects like this, projects that are your creative passion, but you don't know whether they're ever going to come to fruition, and you don't really necessarily know how to move forward with them. And that has been my case. I had this idea for a musical, and I could kind of write it out, but I could never get it to go beyond the point that I wanted to, until I started realizing that I needed help from the outside. And I started the outside of my brain. And so I started getting a lot of help. And now that the project is done, we did the live show in New York City almost just exactly a year ago. And now we've made it into a film, working with this wonderful company called Streaming Musicals. It's about to be released, and now comes the hard part, to pay for it all. And so I'm starting this fundraising campaign that's going to open up in the next couple of weeks. And I'm inviting you to come and be part of that. And why would you want to do that? Well, you would want to do that if you love creative projects and you would love to be part of this creative project. But you also might want to do this if you have your own creative project and you would love to learn how to support it through fundraising. Because I don't know about you, but I was just like kind of scared, like, how am I going to do this? Like, I did one fundraising campaign before we went to New York, and then when it was time for all the rest of the costs for the film, I was like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And being able to work with somebody who knows how to do this, who knows how to make it fun, who knows how to make it part of the game and the joy and the pleasure, that's been an amazing opportunity. I wanted to share that with others by inviting you to come and join my fundraising team of Golden Cage ambassadors, but also for anyone who is themselves interested in developing some kind of fundraising for their own projects. The opportunity to get to work on somebody else's project and get to kind of learn how to do it when it's not your baby is something I really wish that I had had the chance to do. And so I want to offer that chance to you. And in particular, I want to make sure that you have an opportunity to get this amazing training that I'm getting. So when I looked at Andre's notes for today, I saw that, there's not only, talking about the project and talking about how fundraising works and all like that, but then also these journaling experiences. And it was almost like a game, or the chance to really, connect to yourself. And I love stuff like that because I'm always learning and I'm always having to learn. So I wanted to invite you to come, and I put a link to register in, I'm looking up like this because I don't know if it's up, but I mean, that's where the post is. So whatever platform you're seeing this on, hopefully there's a post along with it, and there is a link to this event today. So I also want to answer any questions that you have, and I also want to answer questions about, creative projects, because this is a pretty amazing thing. It's easy to have an idea like, wouldn't it be cool? Oh, that's a great idea. Like, wouldn't it be cool to do this, or that? But getting a project or getting an idea from the idea phase to where it actually can be seen. I mean, like this. Okay, so one of the reasons I wanted to play the harp is because there is such a short point between, hey, I have an idea for a song, or hey, I want to do a performance. Here I am. Like I've got everything here. So for example, I'm about to play you this is one of the themes of the show. And this is easy. It's easy for me to sit down and play this. But to make it into a whole production, to then do the fundraising for it, to then get it out on stage, to then get it onto a film, to then get that film edited, to get that film, orchestrated, to get that film released, to put it out into the world, that is a completely much more involved process, from the production to connecting with people to the fundraising. Hi, Facebook user who just said hello to me. Hello. So this is easy. The golden cage, you dream about it when you are a child. The golden cage. I mean, it's easy for me to sit and play. The place where everything you've ever dreamt would happen, happens for you. And maybe it's not always so easy, but it's way easier than putting it all together and getting it on stage, and then getting it on film, and then paying for all of it, and then getting it out into the world. And that, I mean, that's what I spent the last year doing. And, so when you create something, I mean, it's really interesting, because a lot of my life is involved in this now, not only in creating my own projects, but in helping others to create them. I have a mastermind group called Harness Your Muse, and that is where I teach other people how to take a project idea and break it into its component parts, make it creatively, but then everything else that supports a creative project. Because no matter how great an idea is, and no matter how well you can do it, actually getting it into a structure where other people can experience it, and getting it out into the world, and getting it funded, and getting it supported, that is a whole other job. And so now that I'm right in the middle of doing that, right in the middle of doing the, getting it finally out where everybody in the world, it is literally a worldwide premiere, at the end of April or the beginning of May. We're just about to get the final date of when it's going to release. That is a whole other world. And that's why I want to share that process with you as well, because I don't always know how to do everything. In fact, I almost always don't know how to do what I have in front of me to do. And when that happens, I have learned to reach out and get help. If you've seen this show, you know that that's actually, in many ways, the moral of the story. But we don't always know how to reach out and get help. Like, I had it in my head, like, oh yeah, I need to do another fundraising campaign for this. And then I was like, oh yeah, you do this and you do this, that. And then I just realized, oh, I'm just sitting there, and I was like, wait, I don't know what I'm doing. And if I don't know what I'm doing, or I'm doing it alone, then I realize that I cannot move forward with it. So that's one of the reasons that I'm doing that I'm working with such an amazing coach, somebody else who's gone through it, somebody who's done it, somebody who's taught other people to do it. And I wanted to invite you to get to be part of that as well. Because I find that if the first time I do something, I'm like, oh, it's high stakes and I have to go in there and it, which has happened to me a lot in my life. That's okay. I deal with it, but I would rather get the opportunity to actually watch somebody else doing it and be on that team and get to kind of see, okay, this is how it does. Oh, cool. This is fun. I can do this. I can do this one little thing. I can do this one other little thing. And that helps me start to be able to know what I need and how to be part of something. So again, the difference between, hello, I'm doing this all by myself, which I'm telling a story and I'm playing the harp. In fact, right now, whether you played the harp or you didn't play the harp, what I'm doing right now, it's really simple. I could tell you a story right now. That would be very easy to do. I could tell the whole thing to you, which is great and it's wonderful. And that's one of the things that I teach people to do, is how to tell stories with music, or how, whether, no matter how they're doing that, whether they're using words or not using words, but how to use an instrument as a platform for storytelling. And I love doing that. And there is something very powerful about doing that as a soloist, about going out there alone and having the power to do that. And I don't even mean the power so much. It's some kind of combination of power and freedom. When the freedom to be able to do that. And that's one side of performing that I really love. That incredible independence. The fact that I can come on here right now, I could play, I could sing, I could tell stories, I could do anything like that. That's great. And then there's the other side of it. There's the side of it that is involved in production. How do you then take that, even this one thing, how do I write it down so somebody else can do it? How do I then get it to them so they can do it? How do we then rehearse it? How do we then get a place that we're going to perform it? How do we then get people to that place? How do we then do the fundraising to get it paid for? Or sell the tickets or whatever we do? That is all part of the process, which it's interesting because I didn't come on here to talk about Harness Your Muse today. I actually came on here to talk about coming to the fundraising rally. It's a rally. Yeah. The ambassador fundraising rally training that is happening today, because I'm inviting you to that. But I hadn't really realized until I got on here that this is a kind of a subset, or a training that goes learning how to bring your project out into the world, whether it's through social media or through, posters or through publicity or through fundraising, because fundraising is a part of marketing. It is an opportunity for people to actually take part in your thing. Like a friend of mine, just put out this book of poetry and she did a fundraising campaign for it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. For $25, I can be part of this. I can support her. I can cheer her on. She will know that I love her project. But she had to put that together. She had to put it together. She had to send it out to me. She had to have the courage to do that. So all of that is part of being a creative ambassador, whether it's for your own work or whether it's for other people's work. And I can see that there's a bunch of people here. I am happy to answer anything because I love questions about anything. So literally you can ask me anything. And theoretically, you can text or, post from any, wherever this is, what is it called? Broadcasting. And the most important thing that I hope you'll do is join the rally today, the Ambassador Training Rally, where you get to, again, like I said, work with this coach So why would you want to meet and why would you want to work with a fundraising coach for a day? I mean, this is free. This is something I'm going to do, and I'm inviting you to be part of it. Why would you want to do it? One of the things that I really loved about Andre when we first started talking about this is he was like saying, yeah, so the fundraising campaign is not different than anything else. And, I remember, I need to plug this in. I remember when I first started taking the harp out into the world and, having gigs. And I was working with another coach then, Tony Montanaro. He's a theater coach. And one summer I went, it's so funny. This is really interesting how these two things are the same. One summer I went for a 2-week retreat with him. And at the beginning of the retreat, I said to him, look, all I want to learn to do this summer, only thing I want to learn to do this summer is to be able to get on stage. And when I'm doing a concert, sell my CDs. I want to be able to, in a comfortable way, say to people, buy my CDs. And I remember he looked at me and he said, why are you treating that part of the show any differently than the rest of the show? Why are you thinking of offering, when you offer your CDs or whatever you offer, or when you ask for money or whatever it is, why are you making it weird? Why are you acting like that is not fun when it can be just like anything else? And I remember him saying that, and I remember being like, well, I don't know, it just feels weird. I don't know how to do that. And but it's something I am still working to learn. And this training today, the Creativity Ambassador Training Rally, is part of that. And it's part of me sharing my process with you to invite you to be an ambassador for the Golden Cage, which you'll learn more about today, and you will learn a lot more about in the next few weeks. And also knowing that this is something that you may want to do with your own work. And so having a chance to do it with me first. So I am going to go get ready for it. Let's see what time it is. Oh, we still have a little more time. All right. So you know what? While we're here, I am going to practice something in front of you. Just because the other thing that I'm doing in the next couple of days is that I'm heading off to Wales for the Wales International Harp Festival and my concert there. And, a lot of artists, we're still, some of us are still stepping out and performing, for the first or second time. So this is my first international performance since the pandemic. And my life as a mature artist versus an emerging artist is that my life is about 3 parts. And that is I'm a composer, which is I'm composing works for other people to perform. I'm performing my own work, and I'm also coaching. So that's most mature. If you look at if you go to a university or something like that, you will notice that the, people in the arts department, they are not just teaching, they're publishing, and they're out there talking about their works. They're out there performing their works. And that is just, and they're passing their works on to others. So that's part of being a mature artist and having been around long enough to have work to pass on to others. And the Golden Cage is part of that as well, because even though it's about to be a film, it is actually a theater piece that could be performed by anybody. So this film is an opportunity for everybody in the world to see it, but because I'm a composer, it's for anybody to perform as well. So yeah, that's what I want to say about that. And now I'm going to play you something completely different. So this is just fun. But how this does relate to everything else that I'm saying is that this is a piece I've been working on for a really long time, and I will keep working on it for a really long time. And a lot of the work that I do, I've been working on for a really long time. And so have you. You have things in your life that you've been working on for a really long time. And so I just want to tell you, keep sharing those things, because the more we share them, the more they develop. And the more we include others, the more what we're doing opens up. So, in that spirit, this piece is not only a piece of my music, but it is like a performing gym. Just getting my hand to go like this. This is part of what I've been practicing, because I had this idea that I wanted to be able to utilize the strumming techniques. And if you've ever heard my piece Baroque Flamenco, that's where I started exploring it. But then I've started exploring it in other pieces as well. Like, what are all the different things that I can do with that technique? So this, I'll just play it again. Again. Sometimes I just think, I love playing the harp. Just because when I don't know what to say, I can play something. So anyway, thank you, Facebook user. So one of the things that's really fun about that particular piece is that it happened because, and hello, Facebook user again, let me close this thing so I can see everything you say. So one of the things that's really cool about that piece is that it came out of this whole thing. I'm telling you about this sort of my life has to do with creating things for people to watch, or creating things for people to do, for them to be able to do, doing those things myself, and then also training people. So I was in a workshop where I was teaching people, I think I was teaching people how to play the fundamentals of La Bamba. And that's La Bamba. And it's also a lot of other songs. And then I think I said, but check it out. You can always adapt things. So what would it be like if I put that in minor? And it sounded like this. And I was, whoa, I really like that. And then I was like, okay, so what can I do with that? It started out as something I was training people on. I altered it a little bit, and I was like, whoa, that is really cool. Hi, Evelina. I was like, that's really cool. What can I do with it? How can I explore it? How can I go further with that? And that's when I started. I was like, how can I add this? Where do I want it to have like more oomph like that? How can I add more of that? And so just for those of you who are musicians, this is C minor, F minor, a G. And then I added this like strumming thing on the G. So I get to be two instruments here, not just one. Aw, thank you. Thank you. And then it took me years to get that, to even be able to do that a little bit. So every morning I would do my warm-ups and then I would just practice that. And I would talk to myself, okay, C minor, F, and G, then put my hands on all the things that aren't G. C minor, F, and G. All the things that go on in my head and then that go on in my body, coordinating all those things so that then I can start having fun with it. So now it still is a huge challenge. And still, it's fun. And then that still is really just the melody. Later on, I get to improvise with that. Still just improvising on that C minor, F, and G. C minor, F, and G. So improvising, and then there's this second section, which is just something I love the sound of. And then I'm extending this, and I wanted to see how I could expand. What are all the things that I could do? And how long can I do it for before my right arm gives out? And then, do I have the energy to come back and play that again? Right, and can I make it all the way to the end? So that's something that I'm still working on, the physicalness of it and also every other part of it. So why am I talking about that today? Because I'm inviting you to be part of something else that I'm working on. In the arts world and in the creative world, I think a lot of times we sit there and somebody comes out with something and we're like, oh, well, that's amazing. How did you do that? And it's an incredible opportunity to actually come and get to be part of somebody doing that. And I'm thinking, as I'm saying that now, I'm thinking, right. And that's what I've built in the Academy. So, it's really interesting. I really didn't think that I would be talking about all these things today, but I'm seeing as I talk about this, how everything that I'm doing fits together in this sort of model that I'm developing, my own work that comes from my passion. But because I started out as a kid, as a composer, I'm creating it in such a way that others can perform it. And I just realized something that I have to be somewhere in like 1 minute. So anyway, I just want you to know. So I'm creating it for myself, creating it for others, and then training others in how to be part of that, because I think that is part of us growing together and creating a world in which we're all stepping out of the darkness, our own darkness, with a light that illuminates in each other. So just go see the link and join me today for this training, because I want to invite you into my world and into what I'm learning to do now. And so I hope that I will see you there, and I hope that I will see you in many other places. And now I gotta go. So it was so great to get you to see you here. And Evelina, it was so wonderful. Everything you chatted, and everybody else. I'll see you all hopefully in a few minutes. Bye.